Alright. So, for this episode, guys, we're going to go into the Druid Dungeon Cave. You can see at the top right where the top right it says DD1. That's a good way of keeping track of where we are here in the Caverns of Chaos and the world of Encardia in general. For this episode, I decided there's a lot going on right away, and it's kind of an action-packed episode, so I decided to leave most of it in. I didn't do a lot of cutting for this episode. So this is pretty much a good glimpse of just exactly the gameplay loop of this of the game. Future episodes, I will probably cut down quite a bit more. I figured out the reason why we didn't have game audio last episode, so I got that figured out, theoretically. So for Druid Dungeon, my goal is to kill Keithrax. He's the druid at the end of the Druid Dungeon. Similar to how there is a monster at the end of the book, there is a druid at the end of this dungeon. And my goal here is to just dive down as quick as possible. Keithrax generates at whatever level you generate. So the higher level you are, the higher level Keithrax will be. I'm level 7, as you can see right next to my name up there. Here in a second after I'm done looking at my inventory. I found a studded leather armor. But it's really debatable about whether or not that's better. You know, it's like a net positive of 1 defensive point, but... So yeah, up near my name, next to my name in the top left-hand corner, I'm level 7. That bar underneath the number 7, that's how close I am to my next level. If you remember from last episode, my goal is to get to level 10 so I can kill Hots and Plots and Low and Lothel. So that's a ghoul. It's important to try to not melee ghouls because their hit can paralyze you, and then they can just wombo you. You don't have the ability to react. You're paralyzed. You can't move, and they'll just keep hitting you over and over and over again until you're dead. I've lost quite a few characters to that. There's another ghoul. See, I walked up on him. I shouldn't have. I was playing too fast. So there's the downward stairs. We're gonna go down to Druid Dungeon 3. We're already close to halfway there. There are 7 levels to the Druid Dungeon, and I'm actually really lucky here in this run through because I have the 2 spells, the 2 early game spells that are effective against Keithrax. Keithrax is immune to fire, lightning, and ice, and not immune to... No one's immune to magic missiles, and he is not immune to acid either. The only problem is he does have a chance to shrug off bolts. So bolt spells have the chance to miss, and that's called shrugging it off. When the enemy shrugs it off, it's essentially you miss. So yeah. So now we're already more than halfway down to Village Dungeon 5. I got really lucky on this floor. The downward stairs was right next to the upward stairs. Now later on, I might come back here, and because it is good to completely clear out these levels due to dungeon features that might exist on them, such as altars or shops or spell books in general. This is a floating eye. You gotta be careful about those guys because they can also paralyze you. Not as badly as the ghouls, but... So that's level 8. I'm not sure exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do listening. It really doesn't matter what I do here, because eventually, and fairly quickly, I will get up to where my skills just don't really... My skill ups just don't really matter that much after a certain point. You see here, so you see also in the top left-hand corner, right underneath my name, I'm burdened and satiated. That means I've eaten too much food and I'm carrying too much stuff. At the top right-hand corner, you can see the number 100. That's my speed. Being burdened slows you down by 5, and being satiated burns you down by 5. You can also be strained, which will slow you down by 10, and bloated, which will slow you down by an additional 10. So you really do have to manage your weight and how much you eat. You don't want to be hungry, because being very hungry decreases your stats. And you'll see that in later episodes. One good thing about being on normal is you can't starve to death. That's not really a big risk as long as you're paying attention. But on hardcore, you can starve to death. On normal, you just drop your stats low enough to where you're basically gonna die if you don't if you don't eat something due to monsters and stuff. So I'm getting close here to the. I'm gonna find the downward stairs here pretty soon. I've explored a lot of this level already, and DD6. Since there's only one more level before we reach the level with Keythrax, which generates as a special level as well, and I'll explain that more when we get there. There's another bandit corpse. If I wanted to, I could carry that back up to Terranio for the reward, but as I'm already burdened, it's not a very good idea to worry about that. Potions of water are good for blessing stuff. As soon as I'm able to find an altar and get in good standings with my god, I can bless all the water that I have, and that can be used to bless other items. As I mentioned in the previous episode, having cursed equipment means you can't take it off. And that's really bad. As well as certain things just work better, like potions and scrolls and wands work better when they're blessed. As well as food is more satiating when it's blessed. So here's Druid Dungeon 7. The only monsters that generate on Druid Dungeon 7 are animals, except for Keythrax. It's because he's a druid, so he has domain over animals. That was a giant slug, so they're really slow, but it's important to try to stay as far away from them as possible and take them out from range, because they can spit acid at you, and spitting acid is bad because not only does it do a lot of damage, but it disfigures you, and it makes your appearance drop. And you want your appearance to be high because your appearance is directly related to how much corruption you gain. And corruption is going to be important later in the game, because when you get corrupted, you take on sometimes good, but most of the time really negative stats. But they could have some good effects too, so it's kind of a double-edged sword. So whenever you come to a dead end like that, it's a good idea to search around. Especially if it's at the end of a corridor like that, there's always going to be a door behind it. So there I just found a large crystal shield. You can tell it was a crystal shield based on its icon there. It is 210 stones, so it weighs quite a bit. I was able to drop another shield that I was carrying earlier. I know for a fact that my large crystal shield is going to be have better stats than that medium regular shield. But it is really heavy, and I'm using a two-handed weapon right now, so I have to wait until I find a one-handed weapon. Soft boots are almost always boosts of speed, which is really great. You can see now that my speed is 108, even when I'm burdened and satiated. Being fast allows you to perform more actions before the monsters can, so it's really great to have your speed as high as possible. You can see the webs up here. The webs clog this corridor, really slowing me down here. I decided to melt them away with acid, because you don't want to get stuck in those webs, and also there's a chance every time you stumble into a web, you have a chance of becoming poisoned. So it's in general just not a great idea to do, especially if you can clear them. Stronger characters are more likely to just break through them with no problem, but I'm pretty weak. Here we found this is a spell book, which is great because I need more spells here. And I learned Strength of Atlas. Strength of Atlas is an amazing spell. It allows you to carry much more items, and you can see I'm no longer burdened. And this is actually, we've come up against Keythrax, so I gotta. This is a kind of tough guy. He's a magic caster. He can cast darkness and he can confuse me, but I actually get incredibly lucky. Normally he shrugs off bolts like that, but I was able to hit him with magic missile, which bounces. I don't know if I explained that last time. Magic missile will bounce off walls, and I was able to hit him 4 times, one at him and one coming back, 2 times, and they all 4 of them hit him, and so I killed him right away. It was a really incredibly lucky fight. I don't think I've ever had a better fight with Keythrax. You didn't really get a chance to see really the really bad stuff he can do. Especially if he had made it dark. I have no way of making it light again, so he could have hidden in the darkness. That would have been pretty bad. I pick up his corpse. His corpse, I think, always generates, and also the Black Torque. The Black Torque is an artifact amulet. It auto curses, so every time you put it on, it curses, which then again means you can't take it off. And even if you bless it and take it off and put it back on again, it'll curse again, which is unlike most other items in the game. So, but it can also be used as a sling. So you can equip it in your missile slot and throw it, and it'll always return too. So that it's a good weapon. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but it is good to have for certain scenarios. And it does increase your speed when you wear it. So I mean, it's not a terrible artifact, but it's auto cursing. It kind of makes it detrimental to have, especially because the reward for killing Hasenplatz, which I'm gonna do as soon as I level up here, is a necklace, and you can only wear 1 necklace at a time. Which doesn't make sense, because if you've ever been to New Jersey, you know you can wear as many necklaces as you want. Keythrax's corpse dropped. So right now it's my goal to get up topside as fast as possible. Here I'm trying to see if I can cook his corpse. Cooking his corpse would make it last quite a bit longer. His corpse tends to rot away really quick, so it's important that you get up topside really quick and turn his corpse in. You can turn his corpse into 2 different people. If you turn it into Taiwat Pear, he'll give you 1,000 gold. Or you can turn it into the person who gave us the quest, the village druid, and he'll give us a potion of cure corruption, which is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna turn it into a potion of cure corruption because corruption is really, really bad, in my opinion, and in probably most other people's opinion. So I'm back up to Terranir now. For some reason I went that way because I don't know. And again, I go the wrong way because I'm used to spawning in on the left-hand side. When I first started playing this game, you would always start on the left-hand side of this map instead of the center here. So I'm going to talk to... oh, I'm not even talking to him. I'm going to give it to him. So Guthalak, that's his name. He's going to give us this potion, and it's a potion of cure corruption. Which I don't need right now, but will be useful much later. And then I get my quest reward. I can get knowledge, which will teach me herbalism, or power, which will give me a book of Ice Bolt and a wand of Ice Bolt. So I choose power because I don't have Ice Bolt yet, and I don't remember if I know herbalism already or not. But the Ice Bolt's just a good spell here. A Frost Bolt is what it's called. So you see my books now. I don't have Acid Bolt anymore because it disappeared after you read it after you read books so many times, they disappear. So all I have left is my Magic Missile and my Strength of Atlas, and now I'm down to just Strength of Atlas. So I'm burning through my books now because I have quite a bit of concentration, and my literacy is as high as it can be. So I'm getting just as much spells as I can at him right now. Since I have 3 different magic damaging spells, I'm comfortable burning through my books because I don't want to carry them around because they do each weigh quite a bit. So carrying them around does burden me. Though with Strength of Atlas that matters less. But I do also have to worry about my equipment being destroyed through like acid traps, exploding traps, fire-breathing attacks, stuff like that. So here, I'm level 9 again. I need to level up just a little bit more before I can kill Hasenplatz. So I think I'm going to decide to head back to the Thieves Guild. I didn't do so good at it last time, so hopefully I can do better again. Just seeing what kind of stuff I can sell. I think I'm gonna sell that cooking set because I can't cook anyway. I don't have the cooking ability. That I don't have the skill. So no really point in dragging it around. That Tower Mythos Shield would probably be pretty good, but I don't know if it would be as good as my Crystal Shield. And it's expensive. That guy rips you off. You have to be really careful whenever you get new spells, because your spell list goes alphabetically, and so if you're used to casting a spell on a certain button, if you get a new spell, it could change the button, and you end up casting Lightning Bolt instead of Frost Bolt, and you zap yourself into oblivion, and that's not good. Alright, so I'm going to head down to the Thieves Guild again here. Going to give it a second try. I'm feeling just a slightly bit more confident. I have quite a bit more mana. And by mana, I mean power points. It's easy for me to say mana because all other games call it mana, but in this game, mana is a stat, and power points are your what you would traditionally call mana. If you want, you can see all of our stats up next to on our hotbar up top. So it goes my name, my level. This is from left to right. My name, my level, my HP, my power points. Then next to my power points is my DV and PV. DV is your chance to dodge stuff. It's your dodge value. And then underneath that is my PV. That's whenever I take damage, that's how much damage I negate. So right now, enemies have to roll higher than a 25 to hit me, and every time they do hit me, I negate 1 damage. After that is strength, learning, willpower, dexterity, toughness. After I cast my spell, I'll go on. Charisma, appearance, mana, and perception. All of those stats are super important in their own way. For being a wizard, learning, willpower, and mana are my most important stats. But toughness is good for everyone because toughness gives you HP. Strength lets you carry more stuff, as well as hit harder in melee. Dexterity is good for archers, and it's not great for too much else. There I found a one-handed sword, but it was an extra heavy sword. The reason I equipped it was because it was a different weight than most short swords. You should it's a good idea to try to equip equipment that is different than, like, most short swords weigh 30 stone, so if I see a short sword that weighs 32 or 16 or something like that, then I'm like, oh, this is not a normal short sword. That short sword weighed 120, and it was just a normal short sword, except it had the extra heavy prefix on it, so it wasn't any good. There's no benefit to having an extra heavy weapon, so I just decided to leave it. I would like to have a one-handed weapon, that way I could use my crystal shield, but as of right now, it's not that big of a deal to me. Once I equip my crystal shield, you'll see my DV and my PV up there get quite a bit higher. But until now, this adamantium long spear is doing well for me. There, I tried to kick the door and I got stunned by a flash trap, so I just have to keep waiting until it goes away. Also, I'm hungry, so I'm about to eat here. But I'm getting deeper into the guild, and there's Yurgius right there. You can tell it's Yurgius because he has a little star above his head, and I'm just gonna bounce some magic missiles back at him. He's afraid of me. He doesn't like that. So, yeah, I killed him. It wasn't too hard once I figured out where I was going. But I'm still not level 10, unfortunately. I was really hoping to get to level 10 before or after I completed this quest. So I'm going to go a little bit deeper into the dungeon just to try to level up a little bit more. I do have to still worry about traps and whatnot. So... But by the time I get out of this dungeon, I'll be close to level 10, which will be perfect to kill Hotzenplotz. The reward for killing Hotzenplotz is one of the better items in the game, and I'll explain that more when we get there. Also, it's not a bad idea to just kill people and clear dungeons, like I said earlier, because Any of these guys could drop spell books, and I could always use more spell books. This guy dropped a stone amulet. Not sure what that is yet, but we'll figure it out eventually. It's not necessarily a good idea to just equip everything you find, though. Like I said, it could be cursed, and not all items give you are necessarily give you a benefit. Like that amulet could be. I can't think of any really bad amulets, but you know, it could be a cursed bronze amulet. It's not a bronze amulet, but it could, and a bronze amulet just wouldn't do anything for me, and I wouldn't be able to take it off, and that would kind of suck because I want to wear different amulets. So I'm gonna go up here pretty quick. You can see I'm really close to level 10. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave this village, and I'm gonna. Well, first I'm gonna go talk to Taiwat Pair to get my reward. So the reward for killing Yergius is a heap of gold. You'll see here in a sec. I pick up 7,000 gold pieces, which is an insane amount of gold for the early game. So it was pretty dangerous to go in there. You saw earlier, we almost died going in there. But 7,000 gold pieces, that is well worth going in there. I won't have to worry about food for a long time. If I find any shops inside dungeons, I can buy whatever they have pretty much. And some shops can have some really powerful items. So just to level up a little bit more, I'm going to go to a puppy cave. If you remember earlier, the little girl asked us to find her dog who wandered off into a cave. This is the cave that the dog wandered off to. So, but as of right now, I just need 2 or 3 more kills in order to get to level 10. So that's my first goal, is to get to level 10. You'll see me a lot of time just eating corpses that drop on the ground, because it's better to eat things that can rot, such as corpses, than rations that I buy. Rations never go bad. A lot of different food never go bad, so it's better to eat the stuff that rots first than to eat my rations. So my hierarchy of what I should eat goes by what can rot, and then what's the heaviest. And I always eat what's heavier first. That way it's just not sitting in my inventory. So I just hit level 10, so we're going to go talk to Taiwat Pair again. He's going to give us one more quest. He's going to ask us to kill Keythrax. So we're going to go back to Lowenthal one more time. And once you attack Keythrax, almost everyone in the village becomes hostile to you, so you got to be careful. Hotzenplotz, I'm sorry. So that's Hotzenplotz and his 2 guards. The outlaw behind me didn't see me. I'm just going to blast these guys a few times. You do not want to get close to them, because they do have a very devastating poison attack. There, the outlaw finally saw me. I just bounced a magic missile at myself for no reason. But other than that, that was a flawless fight. 2,000 gold from Hotzenplotz and 500 gold from his bouncers. Makes that fight well worth it on its own. So I have, right now I have 10,000 gold. I must have done my math wrong, because I should have more than that, I thought. But the reward for doing the quest is a marble amulet. And the marble amulet is actually an amulet of order. It doesn't self-identify, but it is an amulet of order. And so next to my stats, you'll see the current level, which right now I'm in the village. Underneath that is my alignment. And yeah, you'll see my alignment slowly start to rise towards lawful. Alright guys, after this we're going to the puppy cave, so I'll see you next time. Thanks for hanging out. Bye.